In the vast, windswept expanse of the Gobi Desert, where the earth kisses the sky in a seamless horizon, there lurks a creature so bizarre, so terrifying in its legend, that it could only belong in the realm of nightmares or, as some would argue, in the annals of cryptozoology's most wanted. Enter the Mongolian Death Worm, or as the locals call it with a mixture of fear and reverence, the Ulgurkorkoi. This isn't your garden variety earthworm, destined to end its days on the hook of an angler or in the beak of a bird. No, the Mongolian Death Worm is said to be a creature of lethal capabilities, its very name invoking images of horror in the hearts of those who have grown up on tales of its existence. But what is the truth behind this enigmatic creature? Is it merely a figment of the imagination, a desert mirage fueled by the tales of the nomadic tribes who traverse the Gobi's unforgiving landscape? Or is there something more, a thread of reality to this legend that has persisted for centuries? The death worm is described as a sausage of malice, a tubular terror that could easily be mistaken for a length of intestine from a particularly large cow, if not for its purported ability to spew forth either acid or high-voltage electricity. Accounts vary, at its would-be assailant or curious observer. It is said to measure up to 5 feet in length, a writhing mass of reddish hue, as if the desert sun had imbued it with its own relentless ferocity. This creature doesn't slither or crawl in the manner of snakes or common worms. According to legend, it moves underground, creating waves of sand on the surface as it hunts its prey, be it man or beast. The origins of the death worm legend are as obscured by time as the creature is by the sands of its desert home. Mongolian nomads have whispered its name for generations, passing down harrowing tales of encounters with the beast that seem to blur the lines between the waking world and the ethereal plane of folklore. These stories serve not only as a cautionary tale to those who would venture unwisely into the worm's domain, but also as a testament to the human capacity for or in the face of the unknown. Skeptics and believers alike have been drawn to the mystery of the Ulgurkorkoi, much like moths to a flame, or perhaps more aptly, like adventurers to the call of the unexplored. Expeditions have been mounted, each team armed with the latest in scientific equipment and the unshakable hope that they might be the ones to unravel the enigma of the Gobi. Yet, the desert keeps its secrets well, offering no evidence save for the whispered tales of those who claim to have seen the creature with their own eyes. The Mongolian death worm occupies a unique place in the pantheon of cryptids, those elusive creatures that straddle the line between myth and possibility. It is a symbol of the unknown that still exists in our world, a reminder that there are mysteries out there that defy explanation and invite curiosity. In the pursuit of the death worm, we find not just a quest for a legendary creature but a deeper journey into the heart of human fascination with the unexplained. As we delve deeper into the legend of the death worm in the following sections, we will explore the historical accounts that have fueled its myth, the cultural impact it has had on the people of Mongolia, and the scientific investigations that have sought to peel back the layers of mystery surrounding this desert phantom. Through it all, we will be guided by the underlying question that drives all inquiry into the unknown: what is out there, lurking in the unseen corners of the world, waiting to be discovered? The Mongolian death worm, with its toxic spit or shocking demeanor, invites us to consider these possibilities and more, beckoning us into the depths of the Gobi Desert and beyond, into the realms of imagination and wonder. If history has taught us anything, it's that humans have an insatiable appetite for the unexplained and the mysterious. It's why we tell ghost stories around campfires and why some of us refuse to go into the basement alone at night. The Mongolian death worm is no exception to this rule. It's the stuff of legend, a creature so enigmatic and feared that its story has been passed down through generations, becoming a staple of Mongolian folklore. But where did it all begin? How did this creature, this sausage-shaped harbinger of doom, worm its way into the hearts and minds of the Mongolian people? The legend of the Ulgurkorkoi, which translates rather unflatteringly to intestine worm, due to its supposed resemblance to a cow's intestine, has roots that are as deep and intricate as the Gobi Desert itself. The earliest recorded mentions of the death worm date back to the early 20th century, but ask any local, and they'll tell you that its legacy stretches back much further, into the mists of time. It's as much a part of the desert as the sand dunes and the mirages that tease the thirsty traveler. The death worm's reputation precedes it. Described as a creature capable of spewing corrosive acid or shooting lightning from its body, it's not exactly the kind of critter you'd want to stumble upon during a leisurely stroll through the Gobi. According to legend, its venom is so potent that touching it, or even touching something that has touched it, means instant death. It's said to prey on camels, leaving nothing but a heap of bones in its wake, and it's feared by the nomads, who believe that it can sense when a human is near. One might wonder how such a creature came to be part of Mongolian folklore. The desert is a vast, isolated place, where the wind whispers secrets and the sands shift underfoot, concealing mysteries. In such a landscape, it's not hard to imagine how tales of the death worm could grow and evolve, pass from one generation to the next like a precious heirloom. These stories serve not only as a warning to those who would venture into the worm's territory, but also as a way of making sense of the unexplainable, of giving form to the fears that lurk in the shadows of the unknown. Western interest in the death worm can be traced back to the travels of Roy Chapman Andrews, an American explorer whose adventures in the Gobi during the 1920s would rival those of Indiana Jones. Andrews was the first to bring the legend of the death worm to the attention of the wider world, documenting the tales told to him by the Mongolian people. His writing sparked a fascination with the creature that has endured to this day, inspiring countless expeditions into the heart of the desert in search of evidence of its existence. Yet, despite the efforts of intrepid explorers and the advances in technology, the death worm remains as elusive as ever. It's a creature shrouded in mystery, a puzzle that has yet to be solved. Is it a real animal, a species yet to be discovered by science? Or is it merely a figment of the imagination, a mythical beast born of the fears and wonders of a people living in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth? As we delve deeper into the legend of the Mongolian death worm, we are reminded of the power of stories to captivate and intrigue. These tales, passed down through the ages, are not just simple yarns spun for entertainment. They are a reflection of the human condition, of our quest to understand the world around us and the mysteries that lie just beyond our grasp. The death worm, with its deadly abilities and its place in Mongolian lore, represents a challenge to our understanding, an invitation to explore the unknown and to ponder what other secrets the Gobi Desert might hold. In a world where almost every square inch has been scanned, Instagrammed, and Googled into familiarity, the Mongolian death worm holds a peculiar distinction. It's a creature that, despite numerous eyewitness accounts, remains as slippery as an eel coated in Teflon. These accounts, varying in detail but consistent in their portrayal of terror, provide a tantalizing glimpse into the unknown, fueling the fire of both skeptics and believers. It's the cryptozoological equivalent of a shadow in the dark, seen out of the corner of your eye, but gone when you turn to look directly. Eyewitness sightings of the death worm are like pieces of a puzzle that refuses to be solved. The first documented Western encounter dates back to the 1920s, but ask any local, and they'll assure you that sightings have occurred long before anyone thought to write them down. These accounts are often passed down orally, from one generation to the next, imbued with the kind of details that make for excellent storytelling under the vast, starlit Mongolian sky. One such sighting, reported by a weary traveler in the 1940s, describes a confrontation not for the faint of heart. According to this intrepid soul, he stumbled upon the creature while traversing the Gobi's relentless dunes. The worm, he claimed, was lying in wait beneath the sand, only its ominous, reddish body visible. As he watched, paralyzed with a mix of fascination and horror, the creature suddenly launched a spray of venom in his direction, narrowly missing him. The traveler's description of the worm's appearance, its size, its fearsome abilities, and its blood-red color, matches traditional accounts, adding a layer of credibility, or at least consistency, to the tale. Then there's the account from a group of nomads in the late 20th century, who swear they witnessed the death worm emerging from the desert floor during a particularly hot summer. They described it as moving beneath the sand, creating a wave-like pattern on the surface, before it disappeared as quickly as it had appeared. According to them, the mere sight of the creature was enough to bring a grown man to his knees, praying for mercy from the spirits of the desert. Skeptics, of course, have their field day with such accounts. They argue that the harsh, disorienting environment of the Gobi Desert is the perfect breeding ground for mirages and hallucinations. The intense heat, the isolation, and the human brain's tendency to perceive patterns and threats in the ambiguous stimuli of the desert landscape could easily conjure up visions of death worms from the mundane, perhaps a snake, a particularly aggressive piece of driftwood, or even the shifting sands themselves. But for every skeptic, there's a believer holding a counter-argument like a torch in the dark. They point to the consistency of the sightings over time and across different groups of people as evidence of something unexplained. These are not isolated incidents, they argue, but pieces of a larger, more mysterious puzzle. Why would such diverse groups of people, separated by time and distance, describe similar encounters with a creature that defies explanation? The truth, as is often the case with such matters, likely lies somewhere in the middle. Whether the Mongolian death worm is a real creature, a misidentified animal, or a figment of collective imagination, its impact on the people who share its purported home is undeniable. It's a reminder of the power of the unknown to inspire fear, curiosity, and wonder. In the reports and sightings of the death worm, we see not just a potential undiscovered species, but a testament to the human capacity for storytelling and the enduring allure of the mysteries that lie just beyond our understanding. In the fabric of Mongolian culture, woven with threads of tradition, spirituality, and a deep respect for the natural world, the Mongolian death worm holds a place that is as complex as it is colorful. This isn't just a creature of nightmares or the subject of whispered tales to scare children into obedience. No, the Ulgorkorkoi is more than that, it's a cultural icon, a symbol of the untamable wilderness that defines the Mongolian landscape, and a testament to the enduring human fascination with the mysterious and the unknown. The death worm's impact on Mongolian culture can be seen in the cautious reverence with which it is treated. To speak its name is to acknowledge the power and the danger of the natural world, a reminder that humans are not always the apex predators we fancy ourselves to be. This respect for the creature reflects a broader Mongolian ethos that emphasizes harmony with nature, and an awareness of the delicate balance that governs life in such a harsh and unforgiving environment as the Gobi Desert. But the cultural impact of the death worm goes beyond fear and respect. It has seeped into the arts, inspiring a plethora of folklore, songs, and even modern media. Mongolian artists have long been captivated by the mystery of the Ulgorkorkoi, depicting it in a variety of mediums, from intricate tapestries to contemporary graphic novels, each interpretation exploring a different facet of the creature's legend. These artistic endeavors are not just expressions of creativity, they are ways of grappling with the unknown, of making sense of the world's dark and unexplained corners. Moreover, the death worm has become a symbol of national identity and pride. In a country as vast and varied as Mongolia, where the landscape itself is a testament to the forces of nature, the death worm stands out as a uniquely Mongolian phenomenon. It's a creature that captures the imagination not just of those who live in its supposed habitat but of people around the world. This global fascination has brought attention to Mongolia's rich cultural heritage, its history, and its traditions, showcasing the country's unique place in the world's tapestry of myths and legends. The impact of the death worm on Mongolian culture can also be seen in the way it influences behavior and practices. There are areas in the Gobi Desert where locals tread lightly, guided by a mix of superstition and respect for the creature that they believe inhabits these lands. These practices are not just about avoiding a potentially deadly encounter, they're about acknowledging the limits of human knowledge and power. In a world where science and technology seem to have an answer for everything, the death worm reminds us that there are still mysteries that elude explanation, phenomena that remain beyond our grasp. And yet, despite its fearsome reputation, the death worm has also become a source of fascination and curiosity. It draws tourists and adventurers to Mongolia, eager to explore the desert's vastness and, perhaps, catch a glimpse of the legendary creature themselves. This interest has provided a boost to local economies and has fostered a sense of pride among Mongolians, who are the custodians of one of the world's most enduring legends. The Mongolian death worm, then, is more than just a cryptid. It's a cultural touchstone, a symbol of the wild and mysterious forces that shape our world. It embodies the human desire to explore the unknown, to confront our fears, and to tell stories that capture the imagination. In the sands of the Gobi Desert, where the death worm is said to roam, lies a reminder of the power of myth and legend to inspire, to terrify, and to enchant. Imagine, if you will, a group of intrepid scientists, equipped with the latest in high-tech gear, venturing into the heart of the Gobi Desert. Their mission? To uncover the truth behind one of the most elusive and mysterious creatures in the annals of cryptozoology, the Mongolian death worm. It sounds like the premise of a blockbuster movie, complete with dramatic music and a cast of rugged adventurers. Yet, this scenario isn't far from reality. Over the years, various scientific expeditions have sought to peel back the layers of legend surrounding the Ulgorkoi, driven by a blend of curiosity, skepticism, and the tantalizing possibility of discovering the unknown. The scientific pursuit of the Mongolian death worm is a study in contrasts. On one side, you have the skeptics, armed with Occam's razor, ready to dismiss the creature as a mere figment of the imagination, perhaps a case of mistaken identity or an exaggerated folk tale. On the other, there are those who approach the legend with an open mind, willing to consider the existence of the death worm as an undiscovered species, hidden away in the vastness of the Gobi. One of the most notable scientific forays into death worm territory was led by Czech cryptozoologist Ivan Makl, a man whose name has become almost as legendary as the creature he sought. Makl, driven by a fascination with the unexplained, embarked on several expeditions to Mongolia in the late 20th century. His approach combined traditional scientific methods with an openness to the stories and experiences of the local nomadic tribes. Makl and his team scoured the desert, interviewing eyewitnesses, analyzing soil samples, and setting up night vision cameras in an attempt to capture evidence of the worm's existence. While definitive proof of the death worm eluded Makl, his work laid the groundwork for future investigations and brought international attention to the legend. The challenge facing scientists in search of the death worm is daunting. The Gobi Desert is one of the most inhospitable environments on Earth, a vast, arid landscape where temperatures can swing from scorching heat to freezing cold in a matter of hours. The creature, if it exists, has evolved to thrive in these extreme conditions, burrowing deep into the sand and emerging only when conditions are right. This elusive behavior, combined with the desert's sheer size, makes the death worm an incredibly difficult subject to study. Skeptics of the death worm's existence often point to the lack of physical evidence as a damning indictment against the creature's reality. In an age where new species are discovered through DNA analysis and satellite imagery can pinpoint the location of previously unknown tribes, the absence of any tangible proof of the death worm is telling. Yet, the scientific community remains divided. Some argue that the vast, unexplored regions of the Gobi still hold secrets, and that the death worm, or at least a creature that might have inspired the legend, could be among them. The scientific investigations into the Mongolian death worm embody the spirit of exploration and the pursuit of knowledge. They remind us that the world is still full of mysteries waiting to be solved, and that legends, no matter how outlandish, often contain a kernel of truth. Whether the death worm is ever found or remains hidden in the sands of the Gobi, the quest to uncover its secrets continues to inspire scientists and adventurers alike. It's a reminder that, in the words of the great physicist Albert Einstein, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. In the search for the Mongolian death worm, science and legend collide, leaving us to wonder what other mysteries lie just beyond the edge of our understanding. In the grand menagerie of cryptids, that eclectic roster of creatures that straddle the line between myth and possibility, the Mongolian death worm holds a peculiar distinction. It's not a shadowy figure glimpsed in the depths of a North American forest, nor a mysterious shape breaking the surface of a Scottish loch. No, the death worm is something else entirely, a creature of the desert, as stark and enigmatic as the landscape it calls home. Yet, despite its unique habitat, the death worm shares common ground with its fellow cryptids, a kinship forged in the fires of human curiosity and the insatiable desire to believe in the unbelievable. Let's take a comparative stroll through this hidden world, shall we? Consider, for a moment, the Loch Ness Monster, perhaps the most famous cryptid of them all. Like the death worm, Nessie has captivated the imaginations of people around the globe, spawning countless expeditions and scientific studies aimed at uncovering the truth. Both creatures have elicited a similar blend of skepticism and fascination, and both have been the subject of numerous hoaxes and misidentifications. Yet, while Nessie's alleged home, the deep, murky loch, is confined and relatively well explored, the death worm's domain is the vast and unforgiving Gobi Desert, a place where secrets can easily remain hidden beneath the sands. Then there's Bigfoot, the elusive giant of the American wilderness. The similarities here are more than superficial. Both Bigfoot and the Death Worm are believed to be creatures that have somehow escaped scientific detection, surviving in some of the most inhospitable environments on the planet. Eyewitness accounts of both cryptids often come from individuals with a deep familiarity with their respective habitats: forest rangers and hikers in the case of Bigfoot, nomads and herders for the Death Worm. Yet, while Bigfoot sightings typically describe a creature that is unmistakably alive, a breathing, moving being, the Death Worm often seems more like a force of nature, its very appearance heralding death and destruction. Crossing continents, we encounter the chupacabra of Latin America, a creature as feared as it is mysterious. Like the Death Worm, the chupacabra is often described as a deadly predator, responsible for the deaths of livestock and the subject of whispered tales among rural communities. Both creatures are said to possess lethal abilities, whether it's the chupacabra's reputed blood-sucking or the Death Worm's alleged venomous spit and electric shock. And yet, despite these fearsome reputations, conclusive evidence for the existence of either creature remains frustratingly elusive, leaving us to ponder whether they are flesh and blood entities or merely the manifestations of collective fears and myths. What these comparisons reveal is not just the diversity of the world's cryptids, but also the common threads that weave through their legends. Each of these creatures, from the depths of Loch Ness to the heart of the Gobi Desert, embodies the human fascination with the unknown. They are reminders of the mysteries that still exist in our increasingly mapped and digitized world, symbols of the unexplored and the unexplained. In their stories, we see reflections of our own desires and fears, a mirror held up to the complexities of the human psyche. The Mongolian Death Worm, with its unique place in this pantheon of cryptids, challenges us to keep questioning, to keep exploring. It invites us to consider the possibility of its existence not just as a question of science, but as a testament to the power of storytelling and the enduring allure of the unknown. In the tales of the Death Worm and its cryptid cousins, we find not just the seeds of legend, but the roots of our perpetual quest to understand the world and our place within it. In the vast landscape of popular culture, where dragon soar and zombies shamble across our screens, the Mongolian Death Worm has carved out its own niche. This enigmatic creature, a legend born in the sands of the Gobi Desert, has slithered its way into movies, books, and even video games, proving that a good monster story transcends geographical and cultural boundaries. Its journey from Mongolian folklore to international superstardom is a testament to the universal appeal of the mysterious and the macabre. The Death Worm's foray into the realm of popular culture is, perhaps, best exemplified by its appearances in film. Here, it is often depicted as the ultimate desert terror, a creature capable of bringing even the hardiest explorer to their knees. In these cinematic portrayals, the Death Worm is usually larger than life, its lethal abilities amplified for dramatic effect. These films play on our deepest fears of the unknown, of what lurks beneath the surface, waiting to strike. They are thrilling, terrifying, and, at times, wonderfully campy celebrations of one of cryptozoology's most intriguing mysteries. But the Death Worm's influence doesn't stop at the silver screen. It has also burrowed its way into the pages of novels and short stories, where it often serves as a symbol of nature's indomitable will and the folly of human hubris. In literature, the Death Worm can be a metaphor for the dangers of environmental destruction, or the perils of venturing into the unknown without respect for local traditions and knowledge. These stories, while entertaining, also invite readers to ponder deeper questions about our relationship with the natural world and the limits of our understanding. Even the world of video games, with its endless appetite for monsters to battle and mysteries to unravel, has not been immune to the Death Worm's allure. Here, players might find themselves facing off against digital incarnations of the creature, navigating the treacherous terrain of the Gobi Desert in search of glory or survival. These games often mix elements of adventure, horror, and puzzle solving, providing a virtual space where the legend of the Death Worm can be experienced firsthand. Beyond entertainment, the Mongolian Death Worm has also found a place in the more scholarly corners of popular culture. Documentaries and investigative television series have featured the Death Worm, approaching the legend with a mix of scientific skepticism and an open-minded curiosity about the unknown. These programs delve into the creature's origins, interview eyewitnesses, and explore the Gobi Desert, offering viewers a blend of education and entertainment. They represent the ongoing human fascination with solving the world's remaining mysteries, a quest that is as much about the journey as it is about the destination. The Death Worm's ascent to pop culture stardom is not just a story of a monster making it big. It's a reflection of our collective imagination, a reminder that there are still tales that can captivate and terrify us. It shows that, even in an age of information overload, there's room for legends to grow and evolve, finding new life in the stories we tell each other. Whether it's through a pulse-pounding action movie, a gripping novel, a challenging video game, or a thought-provoking documentary, the Mongolian Death Worm continues to inspire creators and audiences alike. In the end, the Death Worm's role in popular culture is a mirror to our own fascinations and fears. It's a creature that, despite, or perhaps because of its elusive nature, has become a part of our global mythos, a symbol of the mysteries that still await us in the unexplored corners of our planet. Through its various incarnations in media, the Death Worm invites us to wonder, to be afraid, and to be entertained, proving that some legends have the power to transcend their origins and become something more, a part of the fabric of our collective storytelling tradition. As the sun dips below the horizon of the Gobi Desert, casting long shadows over the sand dunes, the legend of the Mongolian Death Worm continues to flicker in the twilight of the unknown. Despite the advances of modern science and the tireless efforts of cryptozoologists, the Death Worm remains an enigma, a creature that exists at the tantalizing intersection of fact and folklore. The current status of the Death Worm is much like the desert itself, vast, mysterious, and full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. In the years since the Death Worm first captured the public's imagination, there have been numerous expeditions into the heart of the Gobi, each hoping to be the one to bring back undeniable proof of the creature's existence. These quests have yielded a fascinating array of data on the desert's ecosystem, its climate, and the unique species that call it home. Yet, the Death Worm remains elusive, a phantom that slips through the fingers of those who seek it. The scientific community remains divided on the question of the Death Worm's existence. Some argue that the creature could be a yet-to-be-discovered species, perhaps a type of burrowing reptile or an unusual form of worm adapted to the harsh desert environment. Others contend that the Death Worm is the product of misidentification and local mythology, a creature that exists only in the stories passed down through generations. This debate is emblematic of the broader challenges faced by cryptozoology, a field that straddles the line between science and speculation. Yet, the mystery of the Death Worm is about more than just proving whether or not it exists. It's about the human capacity for wonder, the drive to explore the unknown and to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond the edge of our understanding. The Death Worm, with its venomous spit and rumored ability to kill at a distance, represents one of the last great unknowns, a reminder that the world is still full of surprises. The continuing mystery of the Death Worm has also had an unexpected side effect. It has brought attention to the Gobi Desert and its conservation needs. The allure of the Death Worm has drawn tourists and researchers to one of the most inhospitable places on Earth, highlighting the importance of preserving these unique ecosystems. In a way, the Death Worm has become an ambassador for the Gobi, a creature that embodies the desert's mystery and its fragility. As we stand on the threshold of a new era of exploration, with technology that could potentially unlock the secrets of the Gobi, the question of the Death Worm's existence remains open. Will we ever find definitive proof of the Death Worm, or will it continue to be a creature of legend, a story told around campfires and in the pages of books? Only time will tell. What is certain, however, is that the legend of the Mongolian Death Worm will continue to captivate and inspire. It is a testament to the enduring power of storytelling and the human fascination with the unknown. As long as there are mysteries left to explore, there will be those who look to the horizon, to the shifting sands of the Gobi, in search of answers. The Death Worm, real or not, is a symbol of that quest, a reminder that the world is still full of wonders waiting to be discovered. In the end, the Death Worm's greatest legacy may not be the fear it inspires or the expeditions it has prompted, but the sense of wonder it evokes. It is a creature that challenges us to question, to imagine, and to keep searching, even in the face of the unknown. And in that sense, the Mongolian Death Worm is very much alive, a creature that thrives not in the sands of the Gobi, but in the realm of human curiosity and the stories we tell about the dark and mysterious corners of our world.